What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is January the 24th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before we get into any of that though, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, as far as data points, the only thing to come out today is at 9 a.m. Existing home sales, 4.1 million is that forecast. I do feel it's going to come in a little bit kind of higher than that, similar to the last data points last Friday. So you had permits and I believe it was builds, both higher than anticipated. So it's fair to assume that this is going to be the exact same. The only thing that has really else come out to really bring up was this right here. So based out of Japan, they actually did raise the rates from 0.25 to 0.5. So ultimately, I think people are just going to be watching whether there is a liquidity pull from bonds and potentially prompting kind of a pullback in the market. So we'll just have to wait and see how that does play out. But futures are somewhat mixed. So NASDAQ is up 0.05, S&P is down 0.02, and then Dow is down 0.16. Fear and greed index, despite being broken, is still moving, so it's under the neutral category. So in theory, people's appetite for risk is on the table and improving. But like I said, I think that this is largely broken. But moving on, Sofi. So Sofi is up, no news, no SEC filings. They have one trading day left before their earnings, so you most likely will see a lot of volatility. And with today being Friday, just take note of some of the strong support and resistance points through options. So this is all the open interest. You have 13,000 at that 1750, 17,000 at that 8, 13,000 at 1850, and then 10,000 at 19. So we've already seen in the past Sofi get manipulated around these, so just kind of stay tuned and watch for those. Aside from that though, speaking of manipulation, 11.94% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 127.34 million shares overall are being shorted. So I feel like if Sofi does get close to one of the strike prices, you might see shorts a little bit more active. But I feel like logically they would be returning leading into their earnings. But I think in general, that's kind of the $1 million question. I've seen a lot of people on social media outright ask that question. Are we going up or are we going down post earnings? What is going to happen? So yeah, I feel like it's going to piggyback off of the brick and mortar banks, and it is actually going to move higher and stay there. But that's just me. I don't know. Let me know your viewpoint on that. With that 1813, it is trading between this R3 and this R2. So 1734, key one to really watch for today. I don't see that being touched. And then flip side, 1833 is going to be the next strong kind of target / resistance. So just watch for that. Moving on, ticker ALUR is up a very impressive 323% because of this news right here. So, yeah, it looks like they're announcing plans to optimize muscle mass during GLP-1 therapy in combination with the ALUR program. So kind of over my head for the most part. You guys already know, like biotechs and so forth. Not my forte, but that's what's prompting a lot of volume today. So essentially just kind of tread with caution. A lot of these generally go up very fast and down very fast. Price has moved quite a lot, so they just did a reverse stock split this month, a 1-for-25. So this is why you're seeing crazy numbers, even a high of 98.75. So just be kind of aware of that. 8.78% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 46,000 shares. So essentially, like with how much activity shorts have been doing, I'm sure based on today's activity, a lot of that is attributed to shorts. So once again, if they're just tentatively returning pre-market just to double down again, this one I might potentially avoid, but again, my crystal ball is sometimes wrong. You do whatever floats your boat. Right now with that 1694, it is trading between this R3 and this R2. So 1758 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And then 1481 is going to be that next strong support. And you could already see it bouncing pretty much $1 back and forth between 16 and 17. So yeah, it's going to be a very volatile day. Good for swing traders. So just take note of some of the strong support and resistance points. Ticker DWTX. had a very impressive day yesterday, up 376%, continuing that today, so up 17%. No news today to justify that. So this is the news that came out on Tuesday to really push it higher. And so, yeah, again, another biotech. I think biotech seemed to be the hot one for today, but aside from that, though, 14.88% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 185,000 shares. Utilization is 95.05. So yeah, this one definitely has a lot of volatility. It's well above all the key fib levels, so you just have to tread with caution. Support numbers and as well as next strong targets will be most likely whole number related, but given how much it's actually ran up, just again, tread with caution. Ultimately, when it did go down yesterday, you can kind of see how it did react and where it kind of held. So ultimately roughly around here. So $21 will be a key one to target. You have 15.53, which is basically where it's at right now. So that's going to be a key resistance as well. Aside from that, you have pretty much around that $8 range. So this is where you could see a lot of volatility. But moving on, ticker TWLO, it is up 17.18%. They did tentatively put out some of their earnings numbers. I do believe that their official earnings is slated for the 13th. But yeah, what they did put out was very, very good. And so the market's reacting accordingly, moving it up 18%. Right now, though, only 2.17% of the free float's being shorted. Shorts are obviously reacting accordingly with the good data, returning 62,000 shares. But still, there's 3.13 million shares overall are being shorted. So I don't see shorts being a big deal with this stock whatsoever, but I really do like the numbers that they did put out. I even did put a buy signal for this on my Patreon. So as far as kind of trading, a good buy zone, exit zone. So yeah, this one I think is going to be having a very nice continuation, next leg up based on that. And one thing to take note of though, with it at 134 and change, it is right above this R2. So just watch for 133 to be the next strong support. Flip side, this is where you could see pretty much a very wide gap. Most likely today it is just going to be trading within kind of around this R2, or potentially depending on what happens in the market, you could see a little bit of a pullback to that 128 range. But essentially I see just higher highs coming with this stock. And then last but not least, Mara. So it is up 1.4%, even though Bitcoin's been kind of flat-ish, so somewhat moving higher. But what really is stimulating a lot of mining stocks is what Trump said, and that is associated to cryptocurrencies. How, if I understood it correctly, he wants to have the US actual fiat somewhat backed by stable coins, it sounds like, similar to, or having them in the reserve. So yeah, that's very interesting. Would be very similar to MicroStrategy, and plus a lot of other kind of companies have gone down that route. But yeah, this is a very interesting time period that we are going in. I know a lot of people aren't really fans of cryptocurrency, don't really see it being real, but if the Trump president is pushing for it, I think there might be some validity and some maybe just good buying levels on a crypto level as well as just mining level for things to really move higher. That's just my thoughts, of course. But as far as this stock, it is rather heavily shorted given the comparison to its peers. So 26.18% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 82.48 million shares. Some points to watch for though, with that $20 and change, it is right below this R1. So $20.85 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Could potentially be touched today. Most likely it's just going to trade within this range all in all, but $19.10 is going to be the next strong support. So yeah, if you're a swing trader, like I said, it's probably just going to trade within here, but more likely it'll gravitate towards this R1. Not enough to really break above it though. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Is there any other stocks that is kind of floating in your boat that you're buying today? And going back to Sofi, do you think that it is going to beat or miss on their earnings? And I guess regardless, even if it does beat, do you think it's going to go lower? What's your viewpoint? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, so take a look at those. Link in the description below and also the comments with all that. Appreciate all of you watching.